Hello everybody, it's Sharon here from I Restore Stuff. How are you today? If you are watching the replay, we're so excited to see you too. And you can type the word replay in the comments and you have a chance to win a prize on this live video within 24 hours of the live. So there's that. Welcome to everybody here today on the Essential Stencil page. If you're just joining me, I'm Sharon and I blog over at irestorestuff.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and YouTube, teaching all sorts of DIY tips and tutorials for painting furniture, and I do a bit of sign making, which is why I love Essential Stencil. So I'm just going to scroll down to my Essential Stencil live here, making sure I'm on the right page and all of that jazz. So I can see your comments too, because they're not coming up on that little page there. There I am. Okay, so let me see. I should be able to now see this. I go large. How are you all doing today? Here I go. See, I can see your comments now. I feel like you've joined me when I can see your comments. Hi, Julie, Sherry, Dice from Melbourne. That's in Australia. Well, unless there's other Melbournes in the world, and maybe there is. Teresa from Minnesota. Jennifer. Hi, Jimmy. Hi, Deb. Debbie from Burlington, North Carolina. I have my sister-in-law lives there, so exciting to see you all. Yes, Tracy noticed my different background here. She said I've moved from my regular area. Yes, I usually work out in my workshop. We have a DIY, like a handyman guy in the house today. Well, he's out at the moment. I warned him, I said, I'm doing a live, so are you going to be making a lot of noise? Anyway, instead of in my workshop, I thought I'll go in the kitchen. That way, if he's kind of traipsing through, then there'll be minimal disturbance. So that's why I'm here in my kitchen. Dining area is behind me. Kitchen is behind the camera. So there you go. I'm in a new spot today. Let's get started with our DIY project today. If you've just joined me, I'm Sharon from I Restore Stuff, and I'm an ambassador here with Essential Stencil, ready to show you some stenciling tips. Let me know in the comments if you've never stenciled before. I know a lot of you have been here for a long time and love watching these lives and getting new tips and tricks on different things. So that's amazing. But if you've never stenciled before, let me know. Also, I'm going to be showing you some of the August bundle stencils from the Stencil of the Month Club. Now, give me a wave or a hello if you have joined the Stencil of the Month Club. Guys, I don't know if you've heard the other ambassadors say it this week, but there's a new deal and it's awesome. Now is the best time ever to join the Stencil of the Month Club using my code IRestoreStuff, and you get 50% off your first month. How good is that? I know, right? So you get a stencil set, like not just one stencil every month, you get a complete set of like 3 huge this size stencils sets every month. So in August there was a bundle there. Yes, Marty's in the club. She loves it. Elisa's joined. Hi, Barb from Wisconsin. Yes, so there's so many people in the Stencil of the Month Club. As well as being in the club and receiving stencils every month, you also get to be in their private Facebook group where I tell you what, there is some talent. People are sharing all of their stencil ideas from the Stencil of the Month Club and some of our regular stencils too from Essential Stencil. Paula says, I have not stenciled yet, but I will be very soon. Paula, yay, go for it. I can't wait. And guys, share with Essential Stencils. Send in or post on the Essential Stencil page or in the Stencil of the Month Club some of the work that you've done using the Essential Stencils, because they do a feature every now and then. I think it's on a Friday of some of the best or just some of the most fun stencils ideas that people have been doing. Yes, I know some people are saying there's a lot of help in the club for stenciling, a lot of great inspiration and ideas. So yeah, Belinda says, I'm gonna join. You just went back to work. Well, there you go. It's a lot of fun. And stenciling, and I just find even what I do is painting furniture, and painting furniture is addictive. doing stenciling can be really, really fun, and you just, once you start, you just don't want to stop. But they're a great idea for making signs, for gifts, and all kinds of things. All right, one of the main stencil set that I want to be using today is the Faith 3-pack. So it's a 3-pack set. So it comes with those 3 stencils there, and I'll just open it up. So the first one you can see there is Amazing Grace. And there's this one on the back here. This one is It Is Well With My Soul. And then the third one we have Holy Spirit, You Are Welcome Here. So there's some gorgeous Faith stencils, and I'm going to be using this one today on a sign. But now let me show you, in the Stencil of the Month Club, yes, Flip Flop Furnishings, Kimberly and Renee said, love the club, thank you. Love the Faith Pack, yes. So in the August bundle that came, so these bundles are going to come to this Stencil of the Month Club about every other month. So every second month you'll see a bundle go in there. Now guys, these bundle you'll see are amazing. They've sold out already, but they are expecting more shipments to arrive mid-September. And for today, they switched on the little thing that allows you to back order. So there's that. That's amazing. So they're allowing you to back order from today. So this is the set. We've got some word stencils. So there's some kitchen-y ones. The secret ingredient is always love. Some of those fun words ones. There's another words one. Here we go. When you focus on the good increases. Live more, worry less. Some beautiful positive thinking kind of words, which is kind of what we need in this 2020 year we're in. And then in the August bonus bundle, there are these patterns which are just beautiful. I'm going to be using the bottom one here on my sign today too, to combine that with my Faith set sign. Some beautiful leaves. They can be combined with the lemons or just use them separately, but look at the way that they've combined them in their little example right here on this pillow. So they've used the leaves and stenciled those green, then layered the lemons on top and have a combo of that together, which I think is genius. So there's that pattern, there's grain sacks, which are really popular. So these, again, I'll mention again, these are in the Stencil of the Month Club. So yes, Judy, they are coming back to the Stencil of the Month Club shop. So if you're in the Stencil of the Month Club, you go to their shop and you'll see these in the shop, the August bundle. They've just switched on the link there so that you can place a back order, and they'll be shipping mid-September. So there'll be a little wait on those because they were probably just so popular. They had no idea that you all were going to absolutely love them. Look at the example on that pillow. I can imagine this actually being done in one of those gradient shades, you know, the spots. So that is in the Stencil of the Month Club shop and the August bundle. Hey guys, if you wouldn't mind, you can do that to this video right here. See my little word? Thank you. Just hit that little button. You have some DIY friends. Do you have a group or something that you're a part of that you can share those kind of things in? All right. I have a signboard here that I've just painted in this gorgeous artisan chalk paint color, which is an Australian brand. So it's not in the US, but if you're in Australia, I sell this on my website. It is the olive leaf color, a gorgeous olive green. And I've painted a background to just this. These are just old pallet wood, and I've added some chocks at the bottom, at the other side, to screw them down so that these two boards can stay together. So these just are from a ripped up pallet. And that's what I'm going to be using for my sign that I have ready here. It is well with my soul. But first I want to make the background on here. And I also have, if I get time to do this one, this is just a little recipe board, I think is what it is, because it's got this little area at the bottom where you would sit your iPad or your actual recipe book in here to use that in the kitchen. But I just found it at a thrift store. So I was just op shopping, we call it here, going to an op shop. And it's missing its little, looks like it used to have a stand at the back there, but it looks like you could hang it easily as well. So I'm just going to make a hanging sign that you could just pop something here as well, maybe little pens or something like that. You could even put a little notepad thing here, but I want to put some words on that to just upcycle do a bit of thrifting. All right, so for my background, I said I was going to use these leaves that were at the bottom of this pattern stencil, and this comes from the August bundle in the Stencil of the Month Club shop. So if you're a part of the Stencil of the Month Club, you'll see that on the website, stencilofthemonthclub.com. Oop, my video's frozen. Am I still there? Hopefully we're still there. Let me just check here, guys. Still seeing comments, but it looks like my video's frozen. Let me know in the comments if you're still there. That's a bit of a worry. Laurie says you're good. Okay, well, something weird's happening there. Well, let's see. Am I still there? I still see comments coming through. So looks like I'm still good. Not frozen for you. All right, well, I'll just see my frozen face there, but I'm still live up here. Okay, I'm just going to pop the video camera down so you can see my project here that I'm working on. And here is the green board in olive green. Now, I wanted to mention when you're creating backgrounds for your signs, because I want to put words on here, I'm going to use a really strong contrasting color for the words. So either a black or a white to make them stand out. But if I want a patterned background, I don't want that to compete with my words. So what I want to do is make a really super subtle pattern on the background. And to do that, there are a couple of different ideas. So you can just take note of these ideas. One of them I'm going to be doing for you. Oop, there we go. But the other one is just the idea. So see, it goes off and we'll just have to sort of repeat the pattern by shifting it across over there. Just going to put those leaves on that, it goes off a little bit there. So one of the ideas is to use silver. So I'm using a metallic, so you could use any metallic, like a pearlescent or a silver or a gold or a copper. I'm using silver today and most of the metallics are quite translucent. So it'll just be a subtle effect in the background of my sign, and then I'll use a solid color for the sign. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to get my stencil brush ready. The other idea that I wanted to mention, but I won't do, is you could also mix that same color that I've used on here, the olive green, add just a little bit of white, and you get a slightly different tone, and it will be really subtle. So if you mixed a little bit of white with the green and then use that for your stenciling, it just gives it a slightly different tone and it won't compete with the words that you're doing. So I'm just going to tap my, I'll move it over this way a little, just using the lid to tap on the silver there, which I've shaken up. And I'm just going to offload onto my paper that I have handy here. I could tape this down, but I think I'll just use my hand. So as I said before, the metallic shades are quite subtle, so this is just going to be for a background. And we'll get a nice subtle mix in there. These palette pieces of wood are quite rough and rustic. So the stencil, the paint is kind of soaking in there pretty well. And I only did one coat of that chalk paint because it soaks right into the wood. But it's a really solid colour. These are the leaves. If you've just joined me from the Stencil of the Month Club.com site, and they're in the shop there. So if you're not a member of the Stencil of the Month Club, now's the time to join, because if you use my code IRestoreStuff, you can get 50% off your first month. That's a great deal. And there are 3 different options in the Stencil of the Month Club to join. I believe there's still 3. 1 month, 3 months, 1 month, 6 months or 12 maybe. correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Okay. Is it actually creating a nice, lovely, solid colour? I thought it might be a little bit more translucent than what it is on that green, but it's still going to be nice enough to not compete with the words when I add the words on here. So yeah, copper would be absolutely beautiful on the olive green too, I think. Great idea. Don't forget you can also use my I Restore Stuff code for the general stencils, you know, for all the other sets on essentialstencil.com, and you get 10% off your order. All right, let's have a look at that. So can you see that nice, subtle stencil? Well, it's not so subtle, you can still see it, but I don't think it's too much that it's going to compete with my words when I add the words. And I do like the way that they have designed this so that on the example they gave, if you saw that before on the cushion, that you can actually add the lemons on top of the greenery. So you would do your leaves green and then add your lemons on top, and they would just fit right perfectly in the area where they need to go. So I'm going to shift this across here. Let's see, just do these ones by the looks of it. And I can see where that one finishes around about there. You could even turn this over if you wanted it to and make it fit the best way that you feel. Actually, that looks like a good fit because this leaf here is going to fit sort of in that gap there. Perfect. A little bit further down. There we go. All right, so grabbing a little bit more of our silver. Remember, any of these metallic colours will be lovely on a background. Just wanting a bit of a different background for words than just plain painted wood all the time. Yes, Joyce says she loves the Essential Stencils. They're really great quality, aren't they? I did mention when I started to let me know if you've never stenciled before, and are you ready to try? It's a lot of fun, and I always tell people if they're concerned, just practice on a piece of paper like this. You can just practice on the paper until you're comfortable with the way you're stenciling so that it doesn't bleed underneath the stencil, because we always tell people to offload, so make sure you're offloading your brush so that you've hardly got any paint on the brush. There we go. All finished. So there's our background, and I've got my wet cloth here ready to wipe that down. I'll just move my stencils. Best to wipe it as soon as you can so that the paint doesn't dry on there. And there we go, lovely background for our words. I do like that. It depends on the light, and it's metallic, so it kind of looks grey probably on the camera, but there is a shine and a shimmer to it. So there's our background. And I can pop that in the water, and I've forgotten my water today, so I'll just leave it in a damp cloth to make sure it doesn't dry out. And my words right here. This fits perfectly on my little palette wood. Now, let me see if it's got the sizes on here. 16 by 7 inches are these signs, so they're perfect for this kind of wood. My wood goes out a little bit further, slightly different size, but I'm going to pop that right in the middle. Now, the one thing I won't include is this leaf, because we've already got the leaves going on in the background here. I'm going to, and I didn't bring my tape, so I'll have to use my edge of my board here to just make sure I don't cover that. And what I have to do is then shift this over so that my words are actually in the center because I don't want this leaf competing with all the other leaves in the background. And then I think I'll do a bright white. Thinking white or black might stand out on there. Black might stand out a little better on the silver, I think, but I don't have the black. Let's do white. White it is. The decision's made for me. I would have to walk all the way into my workshop to get the black. Okay. Kathy's finding it difficult to find lots of colours of paint. Are you? Wow. Yeah, there's some paint companies are finding it difficult with the COVID to get all their paint supplies shipped out and manufactured and all of the things. But we're finding we have more of the colours here in Australia, but less of the core colours like your whites and your blacks and things like that. We sort of ran out a little bit for a while there. Okay, just using just need a fairly small brush. So the Essential Stencil brushes are also, I've tagged those in the description of the description of this live up the top. So you'll see where they are in the stencil of the month. I mean, no, not there. They're in the regular Essential Stencil page. So you can order those there. Just going to offload. Make sure you're offloading your brush all the time. Now I'm holding this down. I've just estimated using my eyes to see where the center is. And I'm going to start over this side so I can make sure I don't get on that leaf to remember. And I'm just holding it down still with my hand. Remember last week on my live, I showed you how to do a shadowing technique. You could also do that here using black and white. So you could use your black as a shadow or even the white and then do black on top. So if you want to check out how to do shadowing, go check out last week's live and you'll see exactly how to do that just by slightly moving and adjusting your stencil and then stenciling over the top of it. Who was that? Let's see. Vicky says this is my most sold sign on a booth. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. It's one of my mum's favourite songs. It Is Well With My Soul. And so yeah, very inspirational. When all the stuff that's going on around you, can have a peace and just know everything is going to be okay. Okay. Those little long letters, I tend to go back and forth, but otherwise I hope you can see that I'm sort of doing a little swirly motion while holding with this hand, while holding with my hand and offloading the brush as much as you can so you don't get all the bleed beneath the stencil. You get nice lines that way. So if it's your first time stenciling, there are so many wonderful tutorials on Essential Stencils page. Just go to the video section and you'll see them all in playlists. So you can check out all the different ambassadors playlists. Then we've got some Christmas themed playlists, Thanksgiving, etc. See how this, but you can see the idea anyway of how you can just use the contrasting colours to your background, then use a subtle colour for the background leaves, I want to call it, and then use a contrasting colour for the words. So you want something that's really going to stand out. So hopefully this white will stand out against that silver well enough. Hopefully it's bright enough. If it's not, I can just do a second coat and just make that white a little bit stronger. Sharon, do not paint the leaf. That's why I had that board kept here so that I wouldn't. I'm just reminding myself. Does anyone else talk to themselves as they're doing their project? To remind myself, don't paint the leaf. Okay, here we go. Let's see how that stands out. Oh yeah, well, see, when I look at it from there, from the camera, it's not too bad. Yeah, it does stand out enough. But you can see it would even stand out better with a pop of a shadow underneath it. So there we go. But see how when I start to bring it closer, it starts to get a little busy in that background there. So maybe that's where you would add another shadow, or just use a bit of... Now, what you can also do with metallics, you could actually mix some of this silver or any metallic with the chalk paint. So you put a little bit of chalk paint, a little bit of metallic, and that way you would get a shimmery look and it would be a little bit more subtle. Otherwise, the idea of just adding a touch of white to the green would also add a little bit of a subtle background. So there's that. And the other one that I was going to do, as I just quickly clean my stencil, is this little board that I bought at a thrift store, or as we call them in Australia, the op shop. Found this one. And it looks like you could hold recipes on it or something. So one of the fun things I thought with that is these word bundles. If you missed the bundle, watch the replay, because I showed you the whole bundle for August. And if you missed the fact that they've actually hit the little button, so you can actually back order these, because it says if you go to the Stencil of the Month Club shop, it will say sold out. But you can back order them now. So you will get yours in sort of mid-September. So they're coming out with these bundles as bonuses in the Stencil of the Month Club about every second month. So there's so much in it. Like, I love all those patterns, like the leaves and the lemons and things that I used. So there's all these lovely kitchen ones that I thought might fit nicely on my, whatever you want to call it, recipe holder, iPad holder for the kitchen. And I could always put a new stand on the back of it. It was missing its stand when I bought it. I just thought it looked fun, like a fun thing to stencil on. Or I could just hang it using this little, there's a hole there, you could hang it on a wall, I guess. But I was showing you, it's just missing the little stand that had some holes here that kind of stood it up. Ah, well. All right, what's your favourite out of these? Someone just said, I love the kitchen is for dancing. So, kitchen is for dancing one. The secret ingredient is always love. So obviously that one's not going to fit across my board because I want it to go up this way. So this kitchen is for dancing. That one fits. Happiness is homemade. That one's not going to fit because it's too wide. But I like this one too. Meals and memories are made here. I think I'm going to go with that bottom one. Partly because I've got this stand in the way and then I'd have to mess with this and trying to hold it down. So that's me cheating a little bit. Someone else said they love the dancing one. Meals, yep, I like the meals and memories are made here. It's a bit of a kitchen-y thing, isn't it? Which is why a lot of houses, like we have the kitchen and dining sort of in that same area. I was saying before, I'm in my kitchen space. If you notice, my workshop isn't behind me like it normally is. It's one of those things where you're cooking in the kitchen and chatting to the family at the same time as they're sitting over on the other side of the room in the dining space. So I'm going to do this white on wood. I love that look. So let me just talk a little bit about prep. What I've done to prepare this board before painting or stenciling on it is I want to make sure the surface has got a bit of grip for the paint to grip onto. So all I did was I got a bit of sandpaper and sanded across the surface because this, sorry, it was made with a little bit of varnish. So it's a little bit slick. So that's going to... Yes, someone said you could cut them apart if needed. Oh, you're meaning the stencils? I don't like to cut them apart, only because then you've got lots of little fiddly stencils to work with. So I do prefer to kind of leave them all there. But yeah, I could work with it still by just holding it down if I needed to. But I think we'll just go with this one. All right, so what I did was sanded to prepare, wiped the sanding dust off, and then we are good to go. So I'm kind of eyeballing this again in the center. Again, I'm being... not lazy, but I just forgot the stencil, the painter's tape to tape it down. So we're just going to have to go with that right there. Got a little bit of white chalk paint. I'm just using an artisan chalk paint, which is Australian Aussie brand, but you can use any acrylic or chalk paint type furniture paint to do this. And then what you would do afterwards is sand it. Yes, I did. I got it from the thrift store. But maybe there's other stores that have these where you are. All right, because I already used this brush with white before, it's ready there for me. Oh, see, that's why we use painter's tape, because I feel like that just slipped slightly. Just using little tiny swirly motions with the brush, wiggling the brush down into there. But the reason we don't get the paint bleeding underneath is because we keep the brush really dry. It's called dry brush. You can, if you can use as dry a brush as possible, that's the best idea. And this is just some kind of recipe holder. You could use it for books or your iPad or even your phone. I went through all my recipe books yesterday just to kind of, you know, you can collect a few over the years, and I was tossing some out that I'm not going to use again. But I am finding, let me know if you're the same, I'm finding that I'm actually using the internet a lot more for recipes to look up, because that way I can just, I know I've got certain ingredients, so you can actually just Google recipe with, you know, this, that and the other ingredient, and it'll come up with a bunch of recipes that I can make with things that I've got in my house. So the internet is fabulous. But you know what I did find that I'm not going to throw out is some of my grandma's old recipe books. And one in particular still got her handwriting on it. And why are they called op shops? Ellen says. I guess it's a shortened word for opportunity shop. So I guess it's giving people an opportunity to purchase something that's been given away, or it's also giving an opportunity to help others, because a lot of those are charity. They're all charity organisations. So that's where the word comes from. Australians like to kind of shorten all their words. That's one thing we do. Anyway, another one of my grandma's also, I noticed the date in the recipe book was when I was 15 years old. She created, out of a notebook, she covered it beautifully, you know, made a lovely signage for the front of it. And she pasted all these gorgeous magazine recipes in it for me and said, this is the start of your recipe book. So she would collect and cut out recipes from magazines and paste them in that little notebook for me for years, and then she gave it to me on my 15th birthday, which is so sweet. Look at that. Isn't that just cute? I'll see if I can kind of hold it back a little bit further so you can see it fully. Meals and memories are made here. So isn't that a cute idea to hang in your kitchen? Here's another idea. You could hang this from the hook up here and just sit your phone or iPad on it to watch something while you're in the kitchen. So it doesn't have to be that you're looking at a recipe. You could be watching your favourite Netflix show or something. I don't know. So there's an idea also. So there you go. There's 2 projects that we've done today. I hope you've enjoyed those. I'll wipe that off very quickly as soon as I'm finished here on the live. But oh guys, we have 3 winners again today. So don't forget, Essential Stencil is going to pick some winners any minute now. Forgot about that. Forgot to mention that. So they've been sneakily looking through your comments, and they'll be giving away 3 prizes. So let's see who those prizes might be. Let's do a drum roll. And Essential Stencil will pop those names up, and I'll see if I can catch them as they come up to see who's won today. Now these are the projects we worked on. If you missed any of these, you can go and check the replay when we finish the live, and you have another opportunity to win a prize. If you don't win this time, you have another opportunity after the replay, during the replay. So comment the word replay and you may win a prize too in the next 24 hours. Let me see. Does anyone see winner comments yet? Let's see. Congratulations. Someone said congratulations. So I'm still scrolling through to see if I can see them so that I can announce their names. But we created this background here. So I've got the olive green color, and then I've used a silver metallic. So it kind of looks gray on the video, but believe me, it's a beautiful shimmery metallic. You might be able to see it in certain light. And I've used the Faith stencils, so don't forget 10% off anything in the Essential store using my code IRestoreStuff, as well as 50% off the Stencil of the Month Club first month if you use code IRestoreStuff there. And that's where you can also back order any of those stencils that I showed you with the from the August bundle. Oh, I'm still not seeing the winners, guys, and I want to see the winners so I can say congratulations. Maybe you can pin the comment. Did anyone see? Did they pick winners yet? I'm scrolling. Someone said congratulations winners, so I'm assuming there's winners here. Guys, who were they? You're welcome, Judy. Thank you. If you guys have any more questions, let me know in the comments, because I usually go back and have a little look-see and scroll through. There we go. Here's our winners, and I'm just going to announce them. Elisa Fannin, Laurie Dykeman, and Sissy Green. So Elisa, Laurie, Sissy, you are our winners today. Big round of applause. Thank you so much. Essential Stencil will mail you your prize, but you just need to email them at support@essentialstencil.com so that you can give them all your details, and they'll send you something. So that's amazing. Thank you guys so much for joining me with It Is Well with my soul, and meals and memories are made here. Thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to use my code IRestoreStuff to get your savings. I'll see you next week. Bye.